Hello, everyone, and welcome. So happy to have you joining me once again. I'm just so grateful for all of my wonderful audiences. I am excited to share with you today an amazing woman, an amazing author. We have with us Leora Leon. She is an exceptional intuitive spiritual teacher, visionary, empathic healer, and best-selling author. Leora delivers the guidance, tools, and insights perfect for assisting people in embracing and embodying their gifts, life purpose, and personal power. Deeply gifted and attuned to providing soul purpose insights, Leora sees beyond the masks, defenses, past life drama, and survival mechanisms that no longer serve us. Leora assists you in living the true expression of your innate magic. Leora provides her audiences and clients with a profound awakening that inspires people to live their soul's purpose with understanding, passion, and power. And Leora's latest book, The Powers in You Workbook, is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely loved it, Leora. I loved it. Welcome
Thank you,
to
Paula.
the show.
Thank you. And my publicist did a great job on that. So
Yes.
one sentence would have been great enough, but thank you so much for having me here.
Oh,
You and I have known each other for a little bit of time. I had you on my show way back when, and
yes.
yeah.
So grateful for our connection. I just love it. My energy sister. I just love it. Would you like to share a little more of your background and kind of what prompted you to put together this great book?
Well, I started out as a child and intuitive and, grew through trials and tribulations and, really started to get into metaphysics because it helped me understand who I was in the multiverse. And then I had a couple near-death experiences where I actually died and came back, and that was really exciting because the first one I was 21 and I drowned in a lake and I was under the water for 20 minutes. And a friend of mine who I interviewed on my show too, Lynn K. Russell, when I told her, I said, people don't believe I was underwater for 20 minutes. And she goes, that's nothing. She goes, I've had people wake up in the morgue after 24 hours. And I'm like, okay, cool. So anyhow, during that time, I was kind of downloaded all of the information of the multiverse. And then I had another one last year, and I had a grand mal seizure. I was having a heat stroke up in the Angeles forest, and I died. And as soon as I got out of the body, I was so relieved. I'm like, oh, thank God that's over. It was shocking because I didn't realize that spirit would say that, but I was. And then they told me, and I could hear my daughter screaming in the background, and they said, you know what, she can't deal with you dying right now. So zoop, I went right back in. But that taught me, each came at a very instrumental time period of my life, and they were able to show me things about our existence, not just my existence, but as a human race, all of our existences. So growing up and having these abilities, being able to, see and read people, and then having a lot of transformational experiences, they call them now, and then going through a lot of trauma myself, I started to search and educate myself every way that I could. And I started out with shaman training. I studied to be a shaman for over a year with over 1,000 clinical hours, and then Reiki, became a Reiki master teacher, and then a channel, which was really interesting, channeling an extraterrestrial being. And so always getting information, and all this information was talking to me about how I could take the life that I thought was traumatic and change it to make it become my dharma, so that I could teach people about how to understand why they're here, why they go through trauma, what is the reason, and then how they can use their powers to overcome and live a happy, wonderful life for the rest of their existence in this physical reality. So that started the book. And I wanted to share with everybody about this book, about everything that I knew and everything that I had been taught and everything that I had experienced. Now, this book, did you find it easy to read, Paula?
Oh, yes, very easy to read, and then the notes, kind of workbookish too. It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Well, I wrote the book for people in this day and age. A lot of us have ADHD, and we're on social media and computers, and everything moves really fast, and we don't have the attention span that we used to have, and because our brains are working faster. So every every chapter is 3 to 4 paragraphs at the most, and I'm basically giving you a crash course in the multiverse and why we're here, energy, and everything is energy and how we work. And so the book gives you the 6 points of optimization that I have created: body, mind, spirit, thoughts, words, and actions, and how to optimize all of those to transform your life. And that's kind of what the book is about. And it's for people that, hate to read and don't have time to read. And you can pick up any chapter and just read it quickly and kind of get the gist. I talk about quantum mechanics, and, I based it in science so that the lay person who's not spiritual per se would be able to enjoy it and understand it and think it had validity.
Yes, I loved it. And there were so many things that stood out to me that I just loved. For example, one of your mottos: experience, learn, change, grow. That was just huge. I mean, that really is spot on. I love that.
Thank you. You gave me chills. And, I wrote that saying a long time ago for my daughter when she was in elementary school. I wanted her to understand that that's what we're here for. And we're here to experience life, to deal with our trauma, to deal with our trials and tribulations, to learn from them, and to grow and to raise our vibration. We come into a physical incarnational existence for the reason of raising our vibration. And every time we raise our vibration, we produce a byproduct. And what is that byproduct? Love. So Earth is a balancing mechanism for the multiverse. So all of us, millions of earthlings, are constantly raising our vibration. We start out somewhere like a caveman, and then we have all of these lives, and we end up somewhere like Gandhi. And somewhere in the middle, we begin to awaken. And that's when we start releasing all of these, experiences that we have had and the experiences in our current physical life. So if you have experienced in your life a lot of trauma, you agreed upon that. You came in and said, okay, I want to grow this much spiritually, so give me this much. And some of us are like, oh my gosh, why did I ask for so much? Because when we're out of the physical body, we can do anything. We're divine beings, right? So we pick this huge amount to take on. And sometimes we think, oh, I just can't go on any longer. But, that is our choice, and that is our dharma.
Isn't that amazing? And I've always been fascinated with near-death experiences. I've had Lynn K. Russell on my show. I'm just fascinated. And in my shamanic training, we did things like journeys where we left our body, and that brought me to saying I can see through new eyes. So I can imagine, Leora, what it must have been like to have drowned and come out of that physical body and then to come back. Was it kind of like it for you? I see through new eyes.
Exactly. Every time you have a near-death experience, it shifts your reality. When I was on a boating, doing a boating thing on down in Hippie Hollow in Texas. They call it tubing, and you're on these inner tubes, and one person's on one side, and they said, and they're going 60, 70 miles on the water. So you're just, hopping along. And they said, whatever you do, don't pull off, let us slow down, and then you can get on. So I was with a girl, and she pulled off. And I'm like, well, and I was kind of getting bored. And I said, well, I'll try pulling off. And sure enough, the centrifugal force took me through. For a split second, I felt excruciating pain. The next thing I knew, I woke up and there's fish going by and plants wafting. And I'm like, where am I? But I felt wonderful. I felt it was pure bliss. It's what we feel when we are out of the physical constraints of our physical body. And then I look over and I see this body just like this, and it's me. And I wasn't alarmed because I was in divine energy. I was spirit. And then I was kind of just enjoying this feeling of bliss, no pain, no suffering, no anything. And then all of a sudden, boom, this light hits me and it starts sending me telepathically all of these images of math, science, histories, languages, all these things that I didn't comprehend at all, things I had never seen, languages that are all completely different, foreign. And then it stopped, and it was like the whole Encyclopedia Britannica in my brain. And then it stopped, and then all of a sudden, this voice said, you know, it's time for you to go up. Your body can't sustain anymore. And this light appeared, and they said, you can go in there or you can go back in your body. And I said, well, what do I do? And they go, that's up to you. So I put my head back into my body and I rose, and they had been searching for me because I was just up there floating, and I was in shock. I felt completely like, what just happened to me? And I had experienced being out of the body, and it shifted the path that I was on. It completely shifted and made me go a different way. And that was kind of the beginning of my spiritual awakening. See, in our lifetimes, we have these signposts that we set up for us so that we can hit them and awaken. And it starts like something will happen. You're like, whoa. And so I call them signposts, and they start to, begin that path of awakening to remember who you are.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Signposts. Oh my gosh.
And you had them, I know you have, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, I love that. I love that analogy. That is so perfect, because I see it as I'm in this life, this vehicle on this life's highway. So now I'm
Right.
going to be looking for signposts.
And you put those there before you came in. When you came in as Paula and you chose the whole life that you have, you said, okay, I'm going to, start my awakening at this point. Boom, I'm going to take shaman lessons, and boom, there'll be another one, and then boom, another one, and a boom. And so these things happen, and you begin to remember who you are out of the physical body.
Yes, yes. And, in your teaching in this book, it does so much to help others and teach us in this lifetime, and what signposts we may have, what we, set up to experience, how we can overcome those effects and learn and change and grow. I mean, that is just so powerful and so beneficial to so many of us, Leora.
Well, yeah, and I came up with a simple equation: is optimization of body, mind, spirit, thoughts, words, and actions. And basically, you're living your highest purpose in every one of those characters. So in spirit, body, mind, spirit, I meditate every day. Body, I eat a particular diet that is healthy for me. I exercise to the amount that is healthy for me. Mind, I constantly work on all of the changes that I feel and all of the emotions. And even when I go down into a sad period, I'm like figuring out what is going on. I'm reading uplifting information. And then we go into thoughts, words, and actions. And we have 80,000 thoughts a day. That's what they kind of think, that thoughts are coming in, boom, boom, boom. And a lot of them, they can be, things that we don't even know where they came from. We're releasing energy when we do that. So, and then we also have the negative talk in our mind. And so we want to live in optimization in our thoughts. And so when you have a negative thought, you want to shift it. And if you can't shift it to something positive, you want to shift it to what you're grateful for. And then the same with words. So the way we talk about ourselves, or we talk about some people, we put ourselves down, and we want to shift that so that we're not doing that. Catch it. And the minute that you catch it and you realize that you're doing it, that energy dissipates. And then your words, thoughts, words, then your actions is the last one. And so actions, and this has been really coming to me heavily recently, is how we proceed, how we act in our life. And actions is how we respond. How do you respond when somebody is pushing your buttons? How do you respond to that? Do you sit back and understand that that person is in a place of pain or suffering, or do you immediately want to attack? So that's something that's been really working for me, working on me heavily right now, is watching how I react to people's inputs. And then I always end up thinking, I analyze it to find out that those people are in a state of anger, fear, not feeling loved. And then that dissipates my action of coming back, wanting to attack. And then that comes from trauma, right? So we are all energetic fields of what this physical reality we have experienced, and also all of the physical realities we have experienced in our other lives too.
Oh, wow. Isn't it just fascinating? Oh my gosh.
It is. I love it. And I know you do too. The
Yes.
more that if everybody could understand what we understand, and the more that you understand, you realize why you're here. You realize what you're doing here, and you can step back and enjoy the beauty. And that doesn't mean that you and I don't go into our depressions or don't go into our sad times. It just means that we don't live there. We may feel it for 24 hours or 2 days, but then we move on because we've created these tools to help us. We continue. I never miss a day of meditation. I watch what I eat all the time. And I do, like I'll get a box of C's candies and eat 12 of them, but then I forgive myself and I move on. So I don't eat it every day, but we just don't live in that energy. We have taught ourselves how to move on.
Yes. Yes. And, I've always been passionate about my morning mantra and what I'm grateful for. And I've added to it. I loved one of those in your book, which is, what do I love about myself today? Oh, that is fantastic to bring that in and add that, think of that every day.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And I do a new one now, and I do it when I'm doing my walking meditation. And now I say to myself, and I just put it out there, and I say, who am I? And I'll get an answer. And so try doing that now when you're, like, say, walking your dog, or you're just out walking or enjoying nature. Just say, who am I? The first thing that comes into your mind is who you are today. And that changes all the time. So who am I? And one day I did it,
Wow.
and I was dealing with a lot of family stuff. And I said, I was doing my walk, and I said, who am I? And it said, you're living in drama. And I went, oh, crap. I better rearrange that. I don't want to live in drama. I don't want to create any more karma, right?
Yeah. And we can, can't we? We can rearrange.
We can
We
rearrange.
have that power.
Yeah, that's what I know people feel powerless, and people feel exhausted to the point of where they don't have the energy. And I always talk about doing baby steps, taking these small, tiny steps. It could be drinking 8 glasses of water a day. It could be starting meditation, as small as that. We don't have, you didn't get where you are overnight. So making that change is going to take time. But the fact that you're aware is the beginning, and it starts to become like a roller coaster. And and I know that you start to reap these benefits that are beautiful when you start taking care of yourself. So
I love that. I love that. And so many times in your book, you mentioned the power position. I love that. What describe that for us?
well, after each chapter, I wrote a little bit about the power positions, and I would tell you things that correlated with what I'm teaching you in the book to my life. I would talk, about my son. I would talk about breast cancer. I would talk about habits that I do. Every morning, I do this small little thing, a 3-minute thing called aligning. And I'll take 1 minute and I'll connect to the divine. I'll connect to Mother Earth, and I imagine a protection around myself. And then I think about the next minute what I am grateful for. And it could be as simple as a roof over my head, clothes on my back, and food in my tummy. And then the third thing is, what is my mantra going to be for today? I am a healthy, loving, abundant, person and I live in joy. So something like that. So 3 minutes to realign yourself, to connect, protect, and, just get yourself ready for the day.
And those 3 minutes can be huge on the rest of the day.
Exactly.
That 3 minutes and doing that for yourself.
Because like, say, for example, when you're driving and you're late and you're hurrying and every light is red and everybody's cutting you off, right? So I learned that from my son, that time is something that we do not control. And when it happens, whatever happens will happen. And when you do that aligning, you're already setting in positive energy for your day. And you'll drive on the days where you have, on a Saturday where you have nothing to do and you're looking, oh, the world looks so beautiful and everything's nice. And, the lights are green, there's no traffic. And so you have to think about, you create your reality. And that's the biggest thing. I learned that from reading Seth's books back in the 80s. You create your reality. Every thought, every word, every action is the spell that you're putting on yourself to create that reality for that day.
Love that. I love that. And that is just so, so powerful.
Right. I'm going to be speaking at the Ions concert in Washington, D.C., and I'm on a trauma panel, and I'm going to be talking about trauma. And trauma has really, I'm actually going to be doing in October. You can go on my website and go into the seminar, but it's going to be all about trauma, and in this life and in the other life. And a lot of us, so all of us, we live in this energetic field. And this energetic field is created by our experiences. So we have trauma. And this teaches you, this seminar that I'm doing teaches you how to release that trauma and how to move forward and not let your trauma affect who you are right now.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Please share with everyone your website information so they can learn more.
It's basically leoraleon.com, and that's it. And, I have an example of a past life regression on there. I have a free journal so that you can start your day every day with a journal, and it's a journal page that you can download. It's all about how I can help you, how I can help everybody, get to the point where you and I are, where, life hits us, but not as hard as it used to.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. That is just so amazing. So beautiful. And I understand that you also are offering a special gift to my audiences.
Yes, for your
Please tell
audience
us about
only.
that. Oh, we're so lucky. Thank you.
I created a transformation meditation, and I think it's 17 minutes long. So the link that you give them, you'll be able to download this transformational meditation for free. So I did it for your audience only. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Oh, that's going to be so fantastic. It's, you have experienced so much, and the sharing that with others. I am just so great, Leora. What would you say to everyone right now that's like, oh my gosh, I want to start taking those small steps? What would you say to them for the first thing to maybe start doing?
The first thing that I would tell them is to look at in your life ways that you can optimize the different areas of your body. So, spiritually, I always go to meditation. Meditation changed my life. When I was dealing with a severely autistic child for 25 years, if I didn't have meditation, I wouldn't have been able to get through it. I wouldn't have had the strength. So meditation is the number one thing for me to go to. And there's meditations everywhere. And people say, oh, I can't meditate because, I have all these thoughts, and those thoughts are called monkey thoughts, and everybody has those. And the first few minutes, 5 minutes, you're like, okay, I have to pay the gas bill. Oh, I have to make this appointment. But then after a while, those disappear. You're like closing tabs on your computer. Then you go into connecting to the divine. You have all of these powers at your fingertips. Your body, how even if you're cleaning the house, that will help you. Do something extra for yourself. Start thinking about how you can make yourself loved, what you can do for you to love yourself, whatever situation that you're in. What can I do to love myself? What can I do today? And when you start shifting that energy, loving yourself, giving yourself information that changes who you are.
Oh, and that's going to be unique to each one of us.
Yes.
Because we each have our little, happiness triggers, I call them, or, what makes us feel good.
Right.
And to give ourselves some love and something for ourselves, that's just huge. That's a beautiful idea.
And we're all different, but we're all the same.
Yeah.
And we are all one living, breathing organism. So everything that you feel is generated energy out into the multiverse. Everything that that affects you affects the whole. So when you start to love yourself and give yourself tools to make that shift, you're creating love, and that's vibrating out into the whole.
Oh, that is just beautiful. That is beautiful. And yeah, the more love we create, oh my gosh, what's going to vibrate out?
Right.
Isn't that fantastic? Oh my gosh. I'm just so thrilled to have met you and
Oh, the feeling's
know
mutual,
you.
Paula.
Yeah,
You're a light being.
gosh. Together we can, all make a difference in the world and put out a beautiful vibration. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we have about 1 minute left. What last words do you want to tell everyone today, dear?
Just to let everybody know that you can do it. And you may be in a place where you feel like you can't go on or you're exhausted. You put all of that in front of you so that you could learn, change, and grow. Just remember that everything, and you can say, how could I put, death or disease or, divorce in front of me? But you did, so that you could learn. When you were out of the physical body, you chose these lifetimes. So you never have anything in front of you that you cannot handle. Just start baby steps, learning to love yourself, treat yourself with kid gloves, and move forward. Optimization, embody, mind, spirit, thoughts, words, and actions.
Oh, thank you, Leora. Thank you. Oh, so wonderful. Love, hugs, and blessings.